Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slamhub Wrestling. Myself Suprit, and this is the Monday Night Raw review for February 10th, 2020. If this is your first time on the channel, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell for all notifications. We here in Slamhub Wrestling cover all pro wrestling, including reviews for Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW Dynamite, and New Japan as well. Show kicks off with the Monday Night Messiah Seth Rollins and his disciples. Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy and AOP are in the ring. Seth is wearing a very different leather jacket tonight. He says he's here to make the hard decisions for us and lead us into the future. We see footage of last week's 6-man tag team match where the disciples beat the Viking Raiders and Kevin Owens. They also showed the footage of Kevin Owens and the Raiders quote unquote distracting Seth Rollins in his triple threat number 1 contenders match. He said his patience is growing thin with them. Kevin Owens then arrives and Seth tells him not to get in over his head and that he's everyone's Monday Night Messiah. If you stand alone, you will fall alone. Kevin says Seth sounds stupid as hell, looks stupid now and talks way too much. Kevin just keeps fighting and he's not alone. The Viking Raiders arrive and Seth says that Kevin only knows to find partners but has a problem keeping them upright. So Kevin then pushes and chops both Ivar and Eric and says they are pretty sorry to me and are sick of Seth Rollins talking. They rush the ring and all brawl as Samoa Joe joins in as the babyfaces clear the ring. This was a great opening segment. So we quickly transition into the Raw Women's Championship match. Becky Lynch versus Asuka. So Kairi Sane is at ringside. Match begins, they lock up and work into counters as Asuka takes control and grounds things. She follows with a shoulder tackle, Lynch fires back, they trade until Lynch takes her down. Asuka fights to her feet but Lynch hits a shoulder tackle. Sane distracts her as Asuka knocks Lynch to the floor. Post commercial, Asuka is laying the boots to Lynch. She grounds things. Lynch fights to her feet and Asuka cuts her off but Lynch keeps firing back with clotheslines. A dropkick and covers for 2. They trade and Asuka cradles her for 2. Knee strike by Asuka and the sit-out Fisherman's Buster follows for 2. Lynch dumps her, takes out Sane but Asuka attacks on the floor. Back in and Asuka covers for 2. Asuka looks for the Asuka lock. Excuse me. Lynch fights but gets posted. Lynch fires back with a disarmer in the ropes and to the apron. And to the apron they go. Asuka fires back but Lynch DDTs her on the apron. Post commercial they work up top. Asuka follows with a superplex for 2. The running knee strike gets 2 for Asuka. She pulls an armbar and Lynch fights, powers up and slams her way out. She goes for a pin but only gets a 2. Lynch heads to the ropes and misses the leg drop. Asuka lock follows. Lynch counters into a cradle for 2. They trade near falls. The manhandle slam by Lynch and that got her the win. This was a really good match. I think it was a little better than their match from the Royal Rumble. And the crowd really got hot for those final moments with the two just getting several near falls over each other. And post-match, this was expected as it was reported everywhere. Shayna Baszler shows up. Shayna Baszler attacks, lays out Lynch with the Kirafuda clutch. She then removes her mouth guard and starts biting her neck, burning up the champion. For me, this angle came off a little cheesy. Not saying it was bad, but they could have done something else, like she could have injured her arm or leg, or if you wanted a blood spot, you could have had Becky bleed from the mouth while being locked in the Kirafuda clutch. And that would have looked great. I hope that they don't make this a thing and turn Shayna into a vampire for God's sakes. The Street Profits versus Mojo Rawley and Riddick Moss. The Profits cut a promo running down Mojo. We got a quick squash match as the Street Profits got the win after a spine buster and a frog splash on Riddick Moss. Post match, Mojo checks on Moss, but Moss cradles Mojo for a pin and becomes the new 24/7 champion. In the back, Becky refuses to be taken to the hospital, medical facility, and decides to go to the medical facility alone. She got in the ambulance and just left. MVP hosted the VIP lounge with guest Drew McIntyre. MVP says it's been too long and he never should have left. The VIP lounge is for people like him, people better than you. McIntyre arrives and MVP welcomes him to the show. He says they go way back and Drew is finally realizing his potential as going to WrestleMania. Drew jokes about getting to point at the sign and he does. MVP is proud of him and wants him to stay focused on the prize and not focus on the naysayers. Drew says he knows what he's up to, and MVP says that some people have said Drew isn't ready to be WWE champion. MVP says they will change all that. Drew questions this we and says he won the Royal Rumble, not we. MVP wants him to focus and wants to guide him. Drew then started joking how MVP could be his advocate like Paul Heyman. But Drew doesn't need someone thinking for him or talking for him or even someone kissing his ass. MVP says he doesn't kiss ass, he kicks it. MVP makes the mistake of telling Drew he needs him. Drew had heard enough. He then headbutted MVP and hit the Claymore kick. This segment was just there, it didn't help Drew in any ways. It was just there to kill TV time and that's it. We get highlights of Randy Orton attacking Edge from 2 weeks ago. Zelina Vega and Angel Garza make their way to the ring. Vega shows footage of Angel Garza beating up both Humberto Carrillo and Rey Mysterio last week. Garza got on the mic and said he is a man's man but also a ladies' man. No woman in the world can resist him. Humberto Carrillo arrives and attacks Garza. They both brawl and security breaks them up. So we get an Angel Garza vs Cedric Alexander match. Vega is at ringside. Garza attacks at the bell of the distraction, grounding Alexander. Alexander counters out and follows with a Rana and strikes. He follows with a flurry and a drop kick to the floor and Garza cuts him off. Alexander cuts him off and slams him to the steps. Back in and Alexander flies in into a super kick. The pants are off. Garza hits the wing clipper and that was it. At this point I'm feeling bad for Cedric Alexander. The guy is just dead on Raw. And the way he's presented on TV, it's obvious WWE doesn't know what to do with him. In the bright side, Angel Garza has been on a roll. And like I said last week, I'm interested in what they do with Garza when Andrade returns. We get highlights of the Charlotte vs Rhea Ripley confrontation. Rhea Ripley is interviewed and isn't waiting for Charlotte to answer. Sarah Logan arrives and asks Rhea who she is. Rhea Ripley responds, I'm Rhea Ripley. Who the hell are you? How ironic. Bobby Lashley and Lana are interviewed in the back. Lana says that they love each other so much. Ricochet got lucky last week and stole her Bobby's title match. Lashley says, like Ricochet isn't a chronic kid looking for a dream, and Ricochet won't even make it to Super Showdown. And for that, Brock Lesnar can thank him. Sarah Logan calls out Rhea Ripley, and we get an impromptu Rhea Ripley vs Sarah Logan match. Charlotte arrives to watch the match. Rhea hits a big boot, clothesline, and a drop kick, and the Riptide finishes it. Post-match, Rhea got on the mic, demanded answer from Charlotte. Charlotte just said Rhea may not even be champion after Sunday's NXT TakeOver Portland and just leaves. I got a feeling that they're going the same route as the build up to last year's Women's Championship match at WrestleMania, because it's coming off little forced rather than coming off natural. So that's my take. Ricochet was being interviewed and responded to Lashley's comments. He said that he has never backed down from a fight and being a WWE champion has been his dream for the last 17 years. The match with Brock Lesnar is the biggest of his career and no one will stop him from that. Ricochet versus Bobby Lashley. Lana is at ringside. Ricochet attacks at the bell, taking the fight to Lashley until he cuts off with a clothesline and strikes. Lashley overpowers him, but Ricochet counters into an enziguri and dumps him. The suicide dive follows. Back in, Ricochet dumps him again and follows with a crisp-looking tope. Post-commercial, Lashley is in control, dumping Ricochet. Lashley follows, but Ricochet hits a moonsault off the steps. Back in, Ricochet calls for two. Lashley cuts him off and posts him. Lashley works him over on the floor, whips him to the barricades and back in. He follows with a suplex for two. Lashley grounds things, follows with knee strikes, but Ricochet cuts him off with an enziguri. The rewind kick connects and the rolling dropkick follows. Ricochet follows with a high cross, a running shooting star press and covers for two. Lashley fights back and the spine buster follows for two. He follows with body shots, takes Ricochet up top. Ricochet counters out, follows with a shotgun dropkick, heads up top, connects the 630 and that was it. This was good only because Ricochet beat Lashley clean and we didn't see any fast finish or a DQ. Randy Orton arrives and says he owes us an explanation. He said what he did to Edge hurt him more than all of us. Matt Hardy then arrives to a big pop. He says he wants to hear the explanation. Matt says Orton may wonder why does he give a damn about Edge. Matt talked about the history he and Edge have. And there was a time that no one hated Edge more than him. Crowd started chanting Lita. Brutal. He said they were young, passionate kids living their dreams, and they did and revolutionized the ladder match. They invented the TLC, which will be a staple of WWE forever. They even stole the show at Mania several times together, and that means a lot to them. When Edge had retired, the hate had left. He and Edge are very similar, and he couldn't imagine if this all was taken from him. He said that he and Edge would used to talk about what if, and he finally returned in a miraculous fashion. He was furious that Orton took that all away from him. He asked Orton, what is wrong with you? Orton, who was standing there, tried for an RKO, but Matt countered. They brawl, but Orton finally hits the RKO, gets some chairs. He then concertos Matt like he did to Edge, and that was it. So this could be them writing off Matt Hardy from WWE TV for good. Matt Hardy confirmed this on his Twitter. So excited for what his next move is gonna be. Ruby Riott was being interviewed. She commented on her attack on Liv Morgan. She said that both of them were best friends and she knows the real Liv. She can try to sell the new Liv, but she isn't buying it as Liv is a follower, and that's why she put her back in her place. Aleister Black versus Akira Tozawa. They work into counters. Tozawa follows with a missile dropkick and strikes. Black hits a pop-up knee strike and the Black Mass finishes it. Post-match, Black says he appreciates the people, but is starting to feel like an animal in a cage. If you venture out here, you will be trapped in there with him. So camera cuts to the back and Becky Lynch is seen returning to the arena with her ambulance. She makes her way to the ring and calls out Shayna. She said that she doesn't give a damn, that she will break Shayna down week by week and then just leaves. So they announced as Super Showdown there will be a Tuvaik Mountain Trophy Gauntlet match featuring AJ Styles, R-Truth, Andrade, Bobby Lashley, Eric Rowan and Rusev. Great. Main event time, Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy and AOP versus the Viking Raiders, Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe. They all brawl and we go to commercial. Post-commercial, Eric is in control, working over Murphy. Ivar tags in, follows with a slam as Joe tags in. He follows with jabs, the enziguri, and Kevin follows with an elbow drop. Ivar and Eric follow with double teams, covering for two. Akam tags in, takes control, and Reza is in. They double team Eric and cover for two. Seth tags in, lays and kicks, and grounds Eric. He follows with a sling blade. Murphy tags in. Eric batters back and tags in Ivar. He runs wild and lariats Murphy out of his boots. Kevin in and works over Akam. The top rope swanton gets two. Akam cuts him off, delivers ground and pound. Reza tags in and grounds things. He dumps Kevin back in and the cover gets two. Murphy tags in, dumps him, and Seth attacks on the floor. Murphy fights off and rolls back in as Akam then cuts him off. Reza tags in and takes control, grounding the action. Kevin fires back, but he gets cut off as Murphy tags back. He grounds things. Kevin fights to his feet, fires back and DDTs Murphy. Tag to Joe, he runs wild and works over Seth. The Raiders take out AOP. They join Joe and follow with stereo suicide dives and back in. The Unagi gets two. It breaks down. Kevin heads up top and follows with a dive onto the pile on the floor. Coquina clutch by Joe. Murphy in. Joe chokes him out as Seth runs in with a stomp, allowing Murphy to pin, and that was it. This was a good fun main event as Rollins and the Disciples got yet another win over the babyface team. So that was Monday Night Raw. This week's Raw was a decent show. The positives from the show were the match between Becky Lynch and Asuka, which was great. The post-match angle with Shayna Baszler was not bad at all, but I still gave my 2 cents on it. Loving the feud between the Disciples versus Kevin Owens and team. And happy that Matt Hardy is written off TV for good and he moves on to greater and bigger things. So what did you guys think about Raw this week? Let me know in the comment section below or on social media. You can find Slamhub Wrestling on Twitter at SlamhubW, Instagram at Slamhub Wrestling. Our podcast and reviews are mainly audio based, and if you don't want your YouTube app running for that, then you can catch Slamhub Wrestling on Anchor and Spotify as well. And if you are watching on YouTube, then make sure to like this video. The like goes for this video at 10 likes, so make sure you do that, and we'll see you guys next time.